Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, folks. Michael Zuber, one rental at a time, back with the one and only Beth Traverso. How you doing, Beth?
Hey, doing great, Mike. Thanks so much for having me back again. Always a high point of my week to be here with you and everyone. So thanks.
Awesome. The audience loves you. I love speaking with you. I love understanding what's going on. Working with the top 1% is amazing. And you just got some data hot off the press that I thought we
I
could look at.
did just dropped,
Awesome.
and I was figuring we could go over it a little bit, and you guys can maybe see like how I look at it and what we're seeing with what's happening in October. And this is in the greater Seattle area, so to give some reference to it, some framework to where that is, and let's take a look here. Um, Sorry, technology getting it figured out here. Okay. So here is the latest data that just was released by the multiple listing service for our Northwest MLS, which is in Seattle and around King County. So, and this just shows, to me, it points out, it illustrates to me all the different submarkets that there are, even just in this one county. And this is one of probably about 10 or so counties in the Northwest MLS. And each one of these is like somebody's buy box would be like submarkets of each one of these lines here. So just pointing out there's a lot to a market. And when you distill it down to a couple of figures, it's only going to tell you just a really small part of the story. So
Right.
so here, one of the interesting things that I saw looking at it, well, first of all, is here's closed sales. And in Seattle, for example, we're down almost 45% in transactions in October 22 versus October 21. And this is bumped up. In previous months, this was around 33 or right around in the 30s. Now we're in the 40s, mid 40s. My area where I am over on the east side is very different than Seattle. And so we peaked out at about 50% drop in transactions back in July. So we got hit hard fast. And now it seems like it's hard to know if I can really call this a rebound, but it's only 33% down now. So
Yeah. So just to orient people, if you're looking at this chart, we're in the blue section. It's
yes.
the third, no,
Mhm.
second, no, first, where are we? What row?
Yeah,
Oh, you're
there's
looking
a
at the percentage. Yeah, I
yeah,
got
and
it.
I don't know if you can see my cursor moving around here or not. I
I
don't know if
can
that
now.
comes across, but this is where I'm looking at right here at east
33%.
side
Yeah.
where I am. And so, and even in my little submarkets, I'm in this one here. So you can see like it's interesting to show 645% more inventory. What?
Wow.
But it went from 31 listings to 231, which is still, and most of that was in one particular town in our area that's very tech heavy and has a lot of
Right.
subdivisions. That one has exploded in inventory. Um, and then what I saw, this is really interesting here, so everyone can move over to the right side. Um, Seattle, this was a surprising stat to me. I had to look at this a couple times to make sure I was looking at it correctly. 11.76% up median price year over year.
Interesting. Yeah.
Because that was lower and it bumped higher because they were at around 900 last month for median price, and now they're at 950. So that's
So,
that's curious to me.
So I want to talk about this because this is what I think is going to happen in lots of markets. So I want to talk about Seattle, that line Seattle specifically. So going from left to right, what we have seen is 86% less listings, right? That's the first two columns.
Yeah, so this is new listings.
So
So
new
new to the
listings are
market. This
down.
is total active here. These two
So I
columns are total active.
so I just want
And
to
this
go
is
column by column. The first two
yeah,
columns, you're basically saying Seattle has less new listings than the last year this month, right?
correct. This year we have 701. We had 701 new listings, where in 2021 we had 864 new listings in October.
Okay, so new listing is down.
Yeah.
Then we go to
However,
total active. Exactly. Total
this
active is,
is interesting.
yeah, total active is up considerably, up
They're not being absorbed.
86%.
Yeah.
Exact. Well, that could be for lots of reasons.
Mm-hmm.
Pricing,
Yeah.
demand destruction. I mean, there's lots of stories behind that number. So if we
Yes.
keep, so that's the green section. Now we go to the pending.
Yeah.
So pendings are down year on year,
40%
40%.
pendings down, 40%.
Hence, that explains why total actives are up. One of the reasons.
Yes.
Right? Right.
Pendings
Because
are
it's not
down.
being absorbed. Okay. So keep
Mm-hmm.
going. Now, oh my goodness, closed transactions
Yes.
down 44%. So again, if you
Mhm.
follow Michael Zuber, I've been telling you we're going to go down 30 to 50%. And
Yeah,
people thought I was crazy. Well, there's
not
44%.
crazy. Verify. And look, so all of these are way negative. This
Yeah,
is
everyone.
all, we're talking about many different segments of the market here.
Yeah.
So, and they're all down significantly, anywhere from about 20, well, 18% here is kind of the lowest one.
Okay.
13% here.
Yeah.
But the vast majority of them, if you go all King County, it's 41%. If you take them, bundle them all together and,
Yeah.
make one number out of it, it's
So
41.
now we go to the price number.
Yeah.
And again, I called the transaction crash, called big numbers. Nobody believed me. It's now here. But look at that price. Still up,
Yeah.
let's call it 12% year on year. And then what I think is most interesting, what I want to re-clarify is, from your memory, the median price for what would have been September in Seattle would have been under 950.
Yes, it was about 900, 899 or so.
And that's what I think is going to happen, because what we're going to start to see is distortion.
Yeah.
The real estate market in Seattle, as you can see earlier, there used to be a lot more transactions. So if you cut the transactions in half, Beth,
Yeah.
what we're going to find out is where the most pain in the market is. And I suspect markets like Seattle, we're going to see higher distortions at higher prices, because again, think about the low end. You're not going to whack the low end 100 grand to move a piece of property.
No.
However, if you have a nice property on the high end, you've been in there a while, you have the equity, and you have to sell. You take a 100K price cut, a lot of eyeballs come to it, you sell, it's still above the median, so it still pulls up the median price. I think we're going to start to see stuff like this, and I think that might have happened in Seattle.
Yeah, and here's a couple other interesting things, Mike. So look down here. This is kind of my stomping ground here, East Side.
Mm-hmm.
It's been 1,350,000 for several months now. It peaked at about 1,640,000 back earlier in the year, and then it immediately just dropped down to about 135. And so it's now look at this, we're negative.
Yeah.
With that last month we were at about 4% positive. Now we're negative. That's the first I've seen that. And
Yeah.
here's a so that's this is a very tech heavy area with lots of areas where there's just subdivision upon subdivision of lots of higher end homes.
Mm-hmm.
And so what I've been finding also, so the story behind some of these numbers is in my area, what I'm seeing is those subdivision type of homes are getting hit the hardest because there's more of them, and buyers know if they just wait around, somebody's going to do a big price drop, and it's kind of a game of chicken to see who's going to drop the most. Yeah. And who can blame buyers for doing that? But then where I also work is in more of the rural area of East King County, where it's very unique properties, acreage, riverfront, different farm properties, things like that. And what I have found is the ones that have that unique it factor are still selling really well because there's one of a kind, and
there's
not 50 of them available. So, but the ones that are a little more standard are the ones that are facing the stiffer competition. Here's another interesting thing I want to point out here. These are the very, very, I don't know if you can see where my cursor is, but this, if you go up a little bit, this is the
nice area.
Yeah, this is like the Medina. It's like think where Bill Gates and Bezos live, and those guys, right. That area. They're up a 26%, 28%, but again, there's not a lot of home sales in those areas. But look how much they've gone up. So it's like once you get to that echelon, I don't think people really care as much about,
But months of inventory though, that's your only 4.
Yeah.
Yeah, because again,
so interesting. Yeah, so if they stay on the market a really long time, but here's the other thing too: is if there's a few very expensive sales, that can distort this too. I've seen that before, where somebody does a record sale and it just messes up the data. So I'd have to look into that a little more, but that's one of those things that jumped out. Another thing that I saw that was interesting on a different chart, which I'm not going to bog people down with another chart, was that the condo chart was way high. So jumps in condo numbers were doing really great. And when you combine the two, the residential with the condos, it turned all these numbers around. So instead of the East Side being negative, all of a sudden it's positive, like 7%, and like what? So it just changed everything once you throw the condos in there. So it's important to really think about, make sure you're looking at the right numbers. And I thought that was interesting to see the condo numbers being as strong as they were, because I don't sell a particularly large amount of condos, so I can't say that I'm necessarily super well versed on condos and all these different areas, but that was an interesting thing. And I thought maybe, and also because the price point is lower, maybe that means people are more, or some people are going there. Maybe some first time buyers are going to condos because they're a more affordable option is one option.
Well, actually, I think that's exactly what's happening. I think what's happening is just like the market we're heading into, where we have 50% drop in transactions, which is what we're looking on this basically. You still have some people that have to buy and some people have to sell. On the low end, you're going to get more buyers, i.e., condos, because what you're going to have is people that used to be able to afford a home be forced to trade down because of payment to buy a condo. The people that had to buy a condo are now going to be renters, right? We're seeing the people that have to buy, they instead of buying a home, they're going to buy a condo because that's all they can afford. And then they'll move up later. And then there'll be some people that have to sell. And I think the pain to sell is going to be kind of above the median, but that'll take time to play out. But
Yeah, and I'm still, like I
yeah.
mentioned last week, I'm working on more listings now than I have since the springtime, which is really interesting to see, and I'm happy to be doing it. But I'm not seeing a large surge of inventory coming on the market. If anything, it's been really quiet with very few new listings coming on.
That just goes back to show you the best of the best are going to get stronger in this environment.
Yeah. And the people that are coming to me now are people that have a need to sell and they need somebody who's going to help them get it done. And they know it's not, I haven't talked to anybody in a while in my market that still thinks that they're going to get the same price that they were going to get in April.
Right.
Everybody has gotten the message at this point that I've talked to. So everyone's realistic and they just want to know like, hey, can we get it done? Can I sell my house now? What's it going to take to sell my house? What's the right price? What's the right prep? What's the right marketing? What do we got to do? So people who are moving out of state, people who are retiring, people who are downsizing, people who have, changes in their family where they just got to move, job transfers, things like that. That's always going to happen. That's always going to happen. So
Yeah.
it never drops to zero, even the darkest of the dark days and the crash, it's never like they were no sales. So
Yep. Yeah. There were still plenty. There were 2 million sales at 18% interest. There will still be sales.
Exactly.
So if somebody wanted to buy or sell or network with you, Beth, how can they figure out or how do they reach out to you?
Yeah, they could reach out to me through my website, bethtraversogroup.com, or find me on Facebook.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And we will see you Friday.
Yes,
for the
I'm
event
so looking
dinner
forward to that. Can't wait to see you and everybody else there, all the rest of the gang.
Yep, folks, again, you're going to get the opportunity to ask Beth some questions. Make sure you take some pictures, ask for autographs, whatever you want. It's going to be a lot of fun. Thank you so much,
Can't
Beth.
wait. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.